Hi there. We continue our journey in the quarter of duality. And today the sun enters a very logical gate, and the earth grounds it in a very emotional gate. So this is really a representation of duality. The sun enters the fourth gate, the gate of formalization, and is anchored in the gate of emotional principles. Gate 4, youthful folly, the gate of the logic answers, the gate of the formulas, and this gate is very interesting in the context of relationship, because what it gives is logical answers that are just the second step in the logical mental process, which we know that begins in the gate of doubt. The doubt and the suspicion is challenging, is there to inspire us by challenging patterns. So if we look at the context of relationship, and we have the whole channel now defined as a global conditioning pattern. So the mood, the neutrino mood is about relationships. So we want to challenge the patterns of relationship, and of course we have the gate of confusion too. So there's a lot of confusion about relationship, and the fourth gate with its formulas gives us logical formulas about how relationship should be in the collective. These are collective gates, so it's all about how things should be and which patterns will serve us in the future. And of course, we know that the last thing that the collective can interfere in is relationships, because relationship is not in the collective realm. You know that the new relationship, and we started talking about it last time. The new relationships of the nine-centered being are so different from the homogenized patterns that we all the time try to put ourselves in. And this is so strong because a nine-centered being can't have any formula about any relationship in their lives. Even each one of us don't have patterns about each relationship, because each relationship is so different. When two people are connected oracally, there is a unique connection that happens, and there is nothing like this in the whole world. So how can we formalize our relationships? And of course, the fourth gate is not called youthful folly without a reason. The beauty is that the answers that come from it have usually nothing to do with reality. It's just a logical answer, just a formula, just for inspiration. That's what the mind knows to do. And of course, the next step after this logical answer or formula is the 17th gate with its opinions, and then these opinions have to be grounded with facts and details, and only after all this mental stream finished its work, then the whole concept has to be experimented with. So these answers that the gate 4 is shooting have usually nothing to do with reality. And of course, when we look at the chart, at the transit global conditioning pattern that we have now with the channel of community, we'll touch it in a minute, and all this emotionality about relationship, and this logical channel tries to give us rules how to be in a relationship. This is really funny. I think it represents beautifully the world, the end of the old world, how it is breaking now. So this, the fourth gate has amazing lines. the the first line I remember is its name, it's pleasure. And then I'm not sure about the second. I think it's acceptance, but I'm not sure. And then, of course, the third line, irresponsibility. And then the fourth line, the liar. And then seduction. And the last one, I don't remember. But it's very interesting to watch how this is really a game. This gate is about mind games, and it sounds so logical that people believe. So this is really interesting to watch, and we have it a week now, and we have the whole channel. So of course it's very different to feel the whole channel is a temporary global conditioning pattern. So let's experiment with it. And this gate is anchored by the gate of revolution, the gate of emotional principles. It's about rejection or acceptance. It's about the tribal resources. Yes, the gate we just met not long ago, gate 19, the approach that really needs resources, needs touch and warmth and sex and food, and the gate that reject or accept is the gate of revolution. And we see that the 49th connects, of course, to the rest of the sensitivity string, the 37th and the 40 that now we have Venus and the Neptune, they form the channel of community. And of course, we have Jupiter in the gate of intimacy, yes, no to intimacy. So we have a very, very emotional, tribal emotional configuration here. And of course, the gate of revolution is, again, as I said, it's about rejection. It's also called the gate of divorce. So we have the channel of marriage or not, and we have the gate of divorce or not. And of course, I would like to look at it that, we talk about it and it's very, very interesting and funny. But when for example, these two centers are open, and for example, you have no tribal activation at all, or you being compromised and you have only, let's say, the gate 40 in an open heart center, or the 37th gate in an open solar plexus, then the whole thing, or of course, the whole thing open and you have gate 19. So these are very strong emotional activations, the emotional ego with this, almost all this string of sensitivity. This is strong, so I invite you to watch how you become emotional, how you become sticky. And of course, we are in this neutrino cloud that talks relationships. So let's see how that affects us. And of course, we remember we do not decide anything from this. And of course, it is emotional energy. So anyway, we need time. Even people that this is not their design, if they feel influenced and they feel difficult to know what's going on with them, just time will solve everything, and especially the time that takes this transit to finish. Another thing about gate 49, this is the gate of territory, this is the gate of the butcher, this is the gate that hides in it violence, rejection and acceptance, also in the touch. We are talking about the stream of touch here. All these gates are about touch. So these little kids that have this gate, they can be violent when their wave is down, is not balanced. Interesting gate. So we are going to talk about marriage, divorce, acceptance, rejection, intimacy, aloneness, friendship, family, and so on. And of course, the bargain. So if we look at the full picture, which just what I just said right now, but we can look at it and see. And of course, it's important to remember it's just a transit. The channel of logic is here just a few days, and the channel of community even leaves us sooner. So this is not that bad. Let's have fun with it. And then in the 12th of August, Mercury comes back to the gate of oppression. And again, we're going to have these two little heads that don't know what to do because they are so oppressed and pressed and have a lot of logical questions and formulas running in their head, and a lot of confusion and realizations. And it could be nice and it could be tiring, but this is what we have for a few days until the 17th. And then in the 13th, the moon enters the gate of the egoist. I'm laughing because this is really amazing. I just imagine myself in the not self world, you know, when people are totally open in all these centers, and then this egoist adds oil to the to the fire, and it can pump our ego, you know, and make us promise things and offer, propose, you know. Popeye can propose to its beloved Olive that he would marry her and he would build her a house and he would give her everything, and they will have a wonderful sex and they will have food and they will have kids and everything is amazing. And then the transit goes and all the promises disappears, and it's funny to look at how the transits can rule us. And of course they can also be pure fun just to watch and to experience. When the moon leaves the 26th gate, it goes to the 11th gate, and again with all these mental activities, we also have now for 10 hours the gate of ideas. So our mind will be all flourishing, how do you say that? Flowering with ideas in all colors and all realms. So we just don't take it seriously. Enjoy and don't take it seriously. And of course the ideas will be about relationships. And then from the 11th gate, the moon goes and continues its journey to the 10th gate. And this is very interesting. We are going to have a triple split definition in the transits, and we actually see here that almost every gate is engaged in a definition. Part of Pluto in the 54th gate, it's the only gate that is not connected to this whole picture. We have 4 channels as global conditioning patterns. Just imagine if you're a mental projector or somebody with 1 channel, look at what's happening here. So this is a day really to experience. I mean, it could be a real experiment, you know, just to watch yourself in this day and see how these energies affect. And when we do it, when we are completely aware of it, it can be so interesting. And when the moon enters the second gate of the second line of the 10th gate, this is the line of the hermit, every month, it happens every 28, I think, and a half days, the moon goes through the wheel. And every month we have this minute that the moon enters the second line of the 10th gate. And this is the beginning of the death cycle. The death cycle is the cycle that something in us, I don't know which part, chooses to begin to die. And of course, we are talking about natural death, not about death from accidents or things that are unexpected. I'm talking about natural death. And I will not talk about this, it's not the place, but it's very interesting that we have this little death in us every month in our lives. And I don't know if you ever noticed what happens to you when this minute arrives. This line is, the moon stays in every line something like 1 hour and a half, it depends, but it's like a very short time that could be, if we decide to make an experiment, just stop and look what's happening to us in this period of time, this little period of time. And of course, the 10th gate is the gate of the love of the self, and it's the gate of loving to be alive. So it's we love to be alive, and we love our way in the world, or not, of course, yes. And then we have to also love to live it and love to die. This is the 10th gate is part of the quarter of transformation, and the quarter of transformation, the fulfillment is by accepting death. Now, the death that we accept here in our monthly cycle is the death of the old. It's like the symbolic thing about the cycle of death is that it begins with the 10th gate, the love being in the world and the love of the self, and it ends in the 60th gate, the gate of accepting the limitation, which is the gate that through the 60th gate, the magnetic monopole and the design crystal leave the body. The physical death happens when they go out, they leave the body through the 60th gate. The 60th gate is also, of course, part of the quarter of transformation, and both of them really are about transforming, and death is transformation. It's just transformation, and this symbolizes what happens to us every month when we die. And not only every month, this is the symbol for the death that we are going through when we transform, when we go through this deconditioning process, and we slowly but surely release, or I can't say even we release these patterns, old beliefs, old conditionings. They are being released from ourselves, from our DNA. It's a very, very deep and slow and blessed process that happens without control. We can't control it. We can just feel it and watch it, and it is going slowly but surely. And I can see now, I have a friend that is now being in the 7th year of her deconditioning, and she shared with me that the deepest stuff that were there are coming to the surface. And in order to, and when I watch her and I watch myself and I watch others, and it doesn't matter in which stage we are in this process, because it's not going to end this process. I mean, just in the day of our physical death, even not there, 72 hours after our physical death. So we actually need to die every time, to allow ourselves to die, to let the old die, because we are so conditioned, and we have, as we spoke in the beginning, we have all these patterns about how things should be. And if we talk about relationships, how many conditionings we have around this subject, how many patterns and beliefs and ideas about how this should be. What is a relationship? How it should be? How am I supposed to be in relationship? And all of these things need to die in order for us to really have the chance to experience new relationships, relationships of the nine-centered being, that everyone is so unique, and we can't expect the other or ourselves to be something. We can't. And even more, it's when we are going through this journey, and let's say that we are two individuals that go through this deconditioning process and we leave our design and we meet and we have this journey that we go side by side. It's never together, sitting in the back seat, yes, but let's say that we have a journey together, side by side. We ourselves change all the time. Each of us are changing all the time. We can't predict how we will be and how will be the other. We can't expect for decisions to bring us to the same place. We can't take ourselves or the other for granted. And this really, I mean, as I speak, I'm really touched by this. I'm so happy to have the possibility to start experiencing these things with different people in my life, and to have no agenda and to just open myself to an unexpected journey. Because yes, we all need relationships. It's true that those who are born in the quarter of duality, this is their issue and they are fulfilling themselves through this growth and this yin and yang dance. And all the others, we need it anyway. It is one of the tools that we grow through it. But when we really allow ourselves to die, and all the things that we had here in our head slowly but surely die, then we can experience something completely new. And every connection with every human being is an unexpected journey, and the journey itself changes all the time. So this is really, I mean, I just love the idea and love the experience of it, and I'm beginning to feel it, and it's amazing. And the last thing is, of course, to remind ourselves that we are these spaceships that fly, and we are sitting on our own by ourselves in the back seat of this spaceship, and all we have to do is to remember that this spaceship has her own manual. There is a strategy to every spaceship, and there is inner authority or decision-making process that navigates this spaceship. And of course, if we want to save our energies, if we want to enhance the attraction between two spaceships, it's very good to let them sleep alone at night, and even the attraction and the sexuality and all other aspects of the bond are a benefit when we sleep alone. So that's what we are going to have this week, and not only this week, this is part of our journey. So until next time, let's die and reborn happily in this duality. Bye-bye.